Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. The presidency has been moving the presidency and his representative have been moving from region to region to solicit for support for a lot of things that are going on right now. Some has been case of social media regulation and other issues that borders on security and other issues. Well, they have gone down to southeast. Right now they went down to southwest, and it will shock you what the southwestern governors and their leaders have told the president. But before we go into the news proper and further analysis, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you'll see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, the Yoruba leaders yesterday told the President Mohammad Buhari to urgently make practical moves to return the country to true federalism to avert resurgence of mayhem that characterized the recent #EndSARS protests and save the nation from disintegration. At a meeting held in Lagos at the instance of President Buhari over the protests that started in Lagos and spread to other parts of the country, the Yoruba leaders also suggested ways the country can overcome some of the current challenges threatening its corporate existence. Traditional rulers who attended the meeting include Oni of Ife, Oba Enitan Ogunwose, Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́, Ọba Lamide Adeyemi, Olúgbọ́n of Ugbuland, Ọba Frederick Akinrutan, Oba of Lagos, Rewanu Akiolu, Olu of Ilaro, Oba Kehinde Olugbenle, and Alawe of Alawe Ekiti, Oba Adebanji Alabi. Also in attendance were the ministers and governors from the Southwest Zone. The federal delegation comprised of the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, that's the leader, Inspector General of Police IGP Mohammad Adamu, Minister of Information and Culture Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and the Director General, Department of State Services DSS Alhaji Yusuf Mogaji Bichi. The monarchs also said the federal government must devolve more powers to the state, especially in the areas of security and economy, else the country would continue to sit on a keg of gunpowder, which, with the possibility of another mayhem worse than what was witnessed in Lagos during the protest. Speaking in turn at the meeting held at the State House, Alausa, Lagos, the monarchs thinly warned the various government, politicians, and other critical stakeholders against treating the issue of youth unemployment and insecurity, saying they could destroy the country. They cautioned that the two problems which they identified as part of what triggered the recent youth protest that was later hijacked by hoodlums were almost getting out of hand. The meeting was coordinated by the chairman, Southwest Governors Forum, and Governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State hosted it. Also present were Governors Kayode Fayemi Ekiti, Gboyega Oyetola Osun State, Seyi Makinde Oyo State, and Dapo Abiodun Ogun State. In the 13-point communique signed by Akeredolu and Oni of Ife after the deliberations, the stakeholders stressed the need to adjust and overhaul the security architecture of the country to adequately address the threats and realities of insecurity. There should be more police presence in communities in southwestern states, the leaders demanded. They also emphasized the need for the federal government to review reports of the various constitutional conferences, including the 2014 National Conference, and implement some of the recommendations, especially with the reference to security, economy, and equal treatment for citizens all over the country. We express appreciation to Mr. President and his administration on the responsiveness to the initial demands of the #EndSARS demonstrators and for his firm handling of the aftermath of the protests. We endorse the call by traditional rulers for regular consultations with state governors and federal authorities on challenges facing states and for appropriate recognition of their role in the Constitution. The security architecture of the country requires adjustment to adequately address the threats and realities of insecurity in the country. There should be more police presence in communities in the southwest states. While there are legitimate concerns contained in the initial hashtag #EndSARS movement, these have been hijacked by criminals and other elements with ulterior and negative forces and degenerated into anarchy. The statement read in part. The leaders called for preventive measures to prevent repeat of what happened in the country following the hashtag #EndSARS demonstrations, saying that the security must be strengthened in all states. They urged the government to respond to the needs of the Nigerian police, just as they appeal to the security personnel to do more to protect life and property and enhance security all over the country. We call for specific measures and proposal to repair damage done to the physical infrastructure and economic asset of Southwest. We believe that the prolonged closure of the border has caused economic difficulties and should be re-examined to alleviate problems of the people in the border communities and prices of some essential commodities. There's need to review the closure and permit resumption of economic and trading activities, the monarch stated. They also called for a comprehensive program that will address youth employment and empowerment, which must be prioritized. There is need for closer coordination and complementary between the state and the federal government in these tertiary institutions should be reviewed with emphasis placed on skills acquisition and entrepreneurship. The communique further read, we recognize the damaging and negative impact of fake or false news and worry about its destructive and dangerous potency. We call on the federal government to use the instrumentality of existing laws and other regulations benchmarked from other countries to provide safeguards against the spread of fake news. The 2015 Cyber Act should also be fully used. Federal government should ensure that technology is used effectively for the advancement of Nigerian security and not its destruction by working with technology social media platforms like Facebook and all the social platforms. The regime of checks and gatekeeping should be fully employed. We urge that every effort should be made to resolve the impasse between the academic staff union of university and the federal government that students can return to school in earnest. Akeredolu warned that such mayhem that happened in Lagos and across Southwest with wanton destruction of monuments should not be allowed to repeat itself. This is the reason for the deliberations. We must take positive steps and have a security agent working with us. This is our home. We must not allow it to be destroyed. Sanwo-Olu said the journey to rebuilding the damaged property in Lagos had begun. In his address, the Oni of Ile-Ife the Oni of Ife urged the Southwest governors whom he accused of keeping far distance from traditional institutes to close the gap. If there was no such gap, the mayhem in the noble agenda of the #EndSARS protester would not have occurred, he said. Alaafin of Oyo said there was need to restructure the country, noting that the current arrangement cannot solve unemployment and security challenges unless we practice true federalism. Unitary system cannot help move us forward. Oba Akinrutan urged the government to unravel those that are behind the carnage in Lagos and across the southwest after the protest. The mayhem in Lagos must be investigated. Governor Sanwo-Olu did well in the management of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I strongly believe that those who are jealous of him wanted to rubbish him. That's Sanwo-Olu. The Olugbon urged the IG to appeal to his men to come out and protect life and property. Before the end of this week, we want to see police outside doing their jobs. Akiolu said, my prayers for those politicians who hijacked the mayhem is that God will forgive them for they know not what they are doing. I canvass for special status for Lagos. He also said politicians should reduce to the barest minimum the way they flaunt wealth without attending to the needs of the governed. What happened in Lagos is a pure case of security breach and the government must investigate it, he said. The Alawi of Alawi, Oba Adebanji said the federal government should revisit the 2014 National Conference report. In his response, Gambari said the President Buhari is so emotional about the carnage in Lagos, especially when Governor Sanwo-Olu presented the graphic details of the damages in Aso Rock last week. He assured the gathering that the President is committed to implementing whatever report from the meeting, especially on the police reform. Have you seen how very comprehensive the Southwest was? Very comprehensive. They listed it all and gave it to them, and they're waiting for a response. That's why we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our comment section. Let's meet in our comment section. What's your take on what the Southwesterners have given to the president? They actually listed in all complicity, and they are insisting, please, we want restructuring. Let's govern our people. Let's have autonomy of power, and also let's protect our